The next part of the video is about certification. I'll explain a bit about the standards that we use, the type approvals that we have, and the certificates that we issue for the greenpin products. First, about the standards. Greenpin shackles meet EN 13889, which is the European standard for forged steel shackles for general lifting purposes, including 20,000 cycles fatigue resistance. The greenpin standard shackles also meet the performance requirements of the US Federal Specification RRC 271, which is about chain and attachments. Type approval. Greenpin standard and greenpin polar shackles are DNV-GL type approved to E271, which formerly was the lifting sets for offshore containers 271, and also to E273, which is portable offshore units. These certificates state that the greenpin standard and the greenpin polar shackles do comply with those internal DNV-GL standards. But at the same time, as you can see in the certificate, it also confirms compliancy with the European standard, with the EN 13889, and also with the US Federal Specification. So this is an external classification society that confirms compliancy of those greenpin shackles with the international standards. Another guarantee of the high quality that we deliver. Also, the power sling shackles are type approved. There's two different standards, DNV-GL standards, that we comply with. One is the standard for offshore and platform lifting appliances, and the other one is a standard for shipboard lifting appliances. And in this slide you can see this specific certificate that we have for the greenpin power sling shackle. Actually, DNV-GL has a platform where you have access to these type approval certificates, but you will also find them on the greenpin website. So if you need the actual certificate, you can go to greenpin.com and retrieve those certificates from there. Shackles can be supplied at no extra cost. At the moment they are ordered, we can supply them at no extra cost with different certificates. Let me explain them one by one. First is a 2.1 or a 2.2, which is what we call a work certificate. This type of certificate states compliancy with the order that we receive from you as a customer. Then the next one is a 3.1 material certificate. I'll explain that later on in a bit more detail because that's one of the most important ones. Further, we issue a manufacturing test certificate. We call it an MTC, and it's a proof load certificate. And there's two different kinds. One is for the batch. That is just the certificate that we issue for the smaller shackles because these are batch tested. Often we get the question, how many pieces of a batch are tested? Well, for the smaller shackles, we test 2%, proof load test 2% of a batch that we manufacture. So in case we manufacture 1,000 shackles in a batch, we actually will proof load 20 pieces. Then the next certificate is a DNV-GL 271 certificate at product level. So this certificate actually states the different characteristics of the batch that we deliver and the size and batch that we deliver. The next one is the general DNV-GL certificate that I showed earlier to you. Then the next one is the EC Declaration of Conformity to Machine Directive. Shackles are lifting products, and those products have to comply with the machine directive in Europe, the 2006 version, which actually 2006-42-EC, and we issue a declaration of conformity for our products. Next one is an ABS certificate. Let me go back and explain a bit more detail about the 3.1 certificate, because this one we consider as the most important one. In this slide we actually have a an example of this certificate. In this certificate, we state the size of shackle, the batch of the shackle, the working load limit, and other details, the general description. But most important, for the batch, with the traceability, we state the chemical composition and we state the mechanical properties. We are quite open. We are an open company. You get a lot of information from Van Beest, and in this specific case, with the chemical composition, we give completely open what the chemical formulation of the shackle is, including the percentages of chromium, nickel, and molybdenum. Those materials, those alloys we use to manufacture the shackle with certain mechanical properties. And in the 3.1 certificates, we also explain these mechanical properties at batch level. So you actually do know what you're getting, what you're buying, what you're paying for. We inform you exactly what the mechanical properties are: tensile strength, yield strength, elongation, and low temperature ductility by the Sharpie value that we measured for the batch that we supply to you. So 3.1 is the most important one. Then the next slide explains certificates that we can supply at extra cost if ordered with. So when you want to order a specific type of shackle, a specific size of shackle, but you have additional requirements, we need to know this the moment that you order the shackle. There are different options, and we list a few here. First, the manufacturing test certificate, and this we consider at product level, meaning that if you need every individual shackle to be proof loaded, we need to know that, and we can execute such a proof load certificate. Certificate of breaking load from a sample testing. Example, you order 100 pieces of shackles, but you need to know the break load of 3 examples. In that case, you need to order 103. We will do the break load test, issue the certificate with the actual break load of those 3 samples. Another example is MPI, magnetic particle inspection, can be done. We can do ultrasonic testing. We can, which is the so-called CG3 certificate from the DNV-GL, a very special one, but if needed, we can do it. Again, we can do a break load test certificate, and all of those certificates can be witnessed by classification societies, depending on your needs. Whether it's Lloyd's, DNV, or ABS, we are used to work with these classification societies, and we can do this testing under class. One more thing I would like to mention, in the first chapter of the catalog, there is an explanation about certificates, much more detailed than I can do in this quick few minutes video, but there you can find more details. All of the certificates are available for our distributors. They have a login and can go to a secured area of our website and obtain all those certificates with the order number that we have supplied the materials with. So through this portal, 24/7 available in 5 different languages, our distributors can access this data. You can go to vanbeest.com, and there is a button to click, and then you need to fill in some information like your customer number and the specific order number that you are looking for, and the different certificates will show up. This concludes this section of the presentation.